I'm looking at this shit that's going on in New York, and you know what I'm thinking about the whole Andrew Cuomo drama and whatnot. I mean, yeah, it sucks that only Democrats are the only ones that are ever held accountable for this kind of shit. But I don't know how we Democrats are ever going to be able to really have credibility to call the Republicans out on their crap if we don't hold our own accountable for the shit that they do. You know? Unfortunately, there are a lot of people who just don't believe us unless we actually do hold our own accountable. And the fact that there are dirtbags elsewhere that are worse, doesn't mean that we shouldn't hold our own dirtbags actually accountable for their fucking misbehavior. I'm annoyed, I think, though, because I'm 35 and, maybe I haven't really done much out there in the corporate world and such, but I do observe the general happenings and things that happen in this country. It's not like I've got a lot of experience at you know um working at a retail job or something, but I do run my own company now, and I know how logistics work behind the scenes and such as far as that Amazon business is concerned, and trading actually operates. I'm getting more and more experience over time at that. But what I wanted to say is that I believe I bring a unique perspective to things, and the problem with Cuomo, is that he is. I mean, there's a lot of credibility to a lot of the allegations against him, and the thing that really frustrates me and the Cuomo, situation is just that. Do you really think that this is the end of Andrew Cuomo? I mean, really. I mean, it's long known. It's long been known by pretty much all political observers that these politicians basically usually go on to retire to be lobbyists of some variety. And it strikes me as somebody. It seems that being a lobbyist is probably a lot more fun than being a politician too. Even though I hate lobbyists, by the way. You know, I'm just saying. I understand why somebody would do something like that. All about the money. You know. Cuomo, is ultimately not good. He's like Teflon. I mean, even if he ultimately gets forced out of office, even if he's impeached and whatnot, he can go write a book. He can probably still give speeches. There's probably tons and tons of capitalist corporations and such out there in the market that are now suddenly they look at Cuomo and they think, I can hire this guy as a lobbyist for us, or we want him to make a speech, or we want to, on and on and on in our system because America is that cynical and broken in a lot of ways. I mean, like, there's a great quote about the United States, which is that it's the only society out there that, the only advanced industrial society that went straight from barbarism to decadence without experiencing civilization at the midpoint, the nadir, between those two extremes. And the United States, like, look at it today. It very much so is a savage country. It's a nation of people that really aren't all that sophisticated and you know are warlike as fuck. I mean it's crazy. It's not really a civilized country really at the end of the day. And Andrew Cuomo, you know he'll I've become a deep cynic watching my country, and I don't think that there's really any recovering, that idealism, because it's been taken in such a huge way from me by, realizations like, that the way that the system, the Senate was designed basically to allow rich people to have a veto over the will of the American people. I mean, like, all those things kind of collided with my sense of American idealism, and now I can't look at my country as anything other than a country that was broken by design. It was designed to fail the way that it's failing. It's not a bug that you're experiencing. I mean, the founders really fucked up. They're like, all of the things that are going wrong are baked into the way that the framers actually designed the system. So that it's now failing. It was basically engineered in a really fucked up way, and now it's going to go completely off course. You know, the framers were wrong about so many of their, you know, fears and procrastinations about, where the United States was heading. I mean, they weren't against the dangers of factionalism. They weren't against political parties, and we ended up with political parties anyways. They were afraid of mob rule, and instead, in order to respond to mob rule, they only gave us a system that enshrines tyranny of the minority. Instead of tyranny of the majority. That was their only answer to it, was to go to the opposite extreme. I mean, that was not really all that deep of thinking about how to actually, prevent, the dangers of faction and mob rule and all that and all those concepts. This was not a good and grand solution to the idea that this was a danger to the country. I mean, and the Republicans have abused the living fuck out of it. I've lost pretty much everything that I believed about America and come to this place that now realizes that pretty much everything that people complain about and say went wrong with this country was destined to go wrong for it, and the seeds of its destruction were written, at the foundation of the country. you know America is pretty much doomed, and people like, Andrew Cuomo, well, he should just resign, because he is already a rich dude. He's already got it made, and if he resigns, he's gonna get all kinds of book deals. He's gonna become a lobbyist. There's gonna be tons of people that would buy him, and his support to help their companies out as a lobbyist. I mean, you're looking at a broken as fuck, so-called civilization when you look out there at the world now. And Andrew Cuomo, he's gonna get, like, this is not going to end him. So why? Why stay in office? He's got plenty of a future ahead of him, even still, even without the governorship. So just resign. You know.